Today I'm going to show you how to make campfire rhubarb pie. And here we go. Hello, welcome to breakfast, lunch, and dinner cooking. I am going to be doing something kind of different, and here we go. I am going to start out. I bought this sliced rhubarb, and it's frozen. I turn my little one burner on here, and I'm going to put that in my pot, and I'm going to add just a little bit, maybe quarter cup of water. And then I'm going to add, I don't have any of my measuring cups here with me, so you'll have to use your imagination. So I am going to add, I haven't opened the sugar yet. There we go. I'm going to add about, I'd say, half a cup of sugar. Yeah, I better go with a cup. This is rhubarb. All right, so I'm going to go with a cup of sugar, and I can always add more after I taste it. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. Can never go wrong with cinnamon. And you know, they say cinnamon is actually really healthy for you. I guess it's a bark of a tree. Then I've got this nutmeg. I've used this before on one of my other channels. I was going to buy some nutmeg, and I thought, no, I've got fresh nutmeg, and I'm going to use it. It's kind of neat. I got this when I was in the Netherlands visiting my daughter. So I am going to, I don't know, probably 3/4 there. I'm just going to do a little bit because nutmeg, whoops, that wasn't good. Nutmeg is really strong, so you got to be careful with nutmeg. And I finally found it. Okay. All right, we'll try that again. Got to hang on to it. I'm probably putting like a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg in there. And then I'm going to put probably a tablespoon of butter. Just for good measure. And I've got to put a pinch of salt. I always do that. We're just going to add a little pinch of salt. Whenever you have sugar, you got to have salt. So I'm going to probably put a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, maybe a little more. And then I've got these, I'm going to put the lid on that, and I'm going to let that cook a little bit. I'm going to push that over. And now I've got my cast iron skillet that I usually do my bread in, but I am going to cook this outside in a fire grill. So I'm going to butter this a little bit here. This is all an experiment, and if it doesn't turn out good, or if it doesn't taste good, I won't put it up. But I think it's going to. So I've got that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I've got 2 things of crescent dough. And I don't know if I'm going to need both of them or not, but I am going to, I'm going to see what we've got here. I'm going to try to put a crescent roll bottom on it, because this is a crescent sheet. And see if I have enough for the bottom. And then I'm going to, I have 2 of these, so if I need, I got these on sale, 2 for $4, so I thought, what the heck? So I'm going to take this. This is going to be my crust. So, I don't know where I start this. Oh, right here. So this is going to be my crust. And you know what? I think I am going to use both of them. Because what I thought I would do is maybe like fold it over, you know, just for fun. I don't know if you've ever seen that bakery where part of the crust is folded over the goodies. So we'll see what we got here. My daughter gave me a grill, and it's a charcoal grill. But when I always watch these old-time cooking shows from like Turkey and all that, they always cook over wood. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try to cook this cast iron skillet in wood like they do. So I'm gonna unroll this. I think it'll be kind of like a crumbly crust, you know, like flaky, like crescent dough is. So I'm gonna move that over. Try to put it up on the sides a little bit. And I'm going to press that in so that I can come back and roll it over my rhubarb yummies. And what I'm going to do, once this rhubarb cooks down a little bit, I'm going to add some cornstarch to it to thicken it. See, I'm just kind of making it into a crust. I think I'm going to pull some of this off. Put it on this side. And what I'm going to do, I don't want any too thick parts. After I get this filled in, you know, when you're camping, it's fun to kind of improvise. So I'm camping in Michigan right now in my camper, and so I'm trying to be creative here and share it with you guys. So, all right, that's good for right now. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side. Now let's see what our rhubarb is doing here. I'm going to wipe my hands off. It's starting to go a little bit. Turn that over. I bought this rhubarb, frozen rhubarb, because when I lived in Michigan before, I always had rhubarb plants, and I plan to have them again. Believe me, I love rhubarb. So I'm going to let that boil down, and once I thicken it, when I go to thicken it with my cornstarch, I will get back to you. So while that rhubarb is cooking, I'm going to start a little fire in my grill here. Luckily, it's not a windy day today. I've got a couple of those fire starter croquettes underneath here, so I'm hoping that they take off too. And what you do is you start these fires and then you let it all burn down to coals. And then they stick the pot right on the coals. So I'm going to gather up some more wood and I'll get back with you. Okay, I'm going to add some more wood here. Try to do it gently so I don't knock that out. And it doesn't really matter what kind of wood you use for this because you're just going to be cooking it in the coals. You're not going to be cooking food, you know, over an open fire or anything. Boy, I put like 4 little croquettes of that, put 4 little croquettes of the, you know, that starter, charcoal croquette starter, because I didn't want to waste charcoal when I'm just going to be cooking it over a fire. So I'm going to let that cook down and turn into coals, and I'll get back to you. I got to go check my rhubarb. So my rhubarb is cooking good. That looks really good. Before I thicken it, I'll taste it to make sure it's sweet enough too. But what I'm going to do is, in the meantime, push that out to the side. I'm going to take and make like a crumble for the top of it. And I'm going to take probably a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I have oatmeal here somewhere, but I can't find it. I don't know what I do with it. So about a 1/4 cup of sugar, brown sugar. And I'm going to take some cinnamon, probably 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm going to take maybe a 1/2 cup of flour. Put that all in there. Then I'm going to, what do I do? Here's my knife. I'm going to take, this is probably 4 tablespoons, and I'm going to make like a crumble to go on top of my little pie, my little rhubarb pie. You can do this by adding oatmeal too. That's really good for a little crumble, but I'm just going to do it with the flour, butter, cinnamon, and brown sugar. You want it to be kind of like a crumble. So you don't want to add too much butter, but you want to make sure you got enough too. So my fire's going good out there. Yeah, for you campers, you don't have to always use charcoal in a charcoal grill. You can always use wood too. That's what they do in the other countries. They don't have their local grocery store to go get their pre-made charcoal. Just like the dogs. They say, oh, don't feed dogs regular food. Well, dogs for centuries ate scraps. They didn't have the local dog food store on the wagon train. And somehow all these doggies have survived. So, all right. That's going pretty good. So you just want it to be like a little crumble. And I'm going to add a little bit more cinnamon. And I think a little tiny bit more brown sugar, just to make it a little more crumbly. And I'm going to flake this on top of the pie. looks pretty good. So you want it to just be like a crumble. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And I am going to take my cornstarch. Wipe my hands off here. I'm going to take my cornstarch. Because my rhubarb is looking pretty good. I'm going to take probably a couple teaspoons of cornstarch. I mean tablespoons. Yeah, just like that. And I'm going to add some water. You always have to add water to cornstarch. You don't ever want to just add cornstarch to your cooking because you'll get lumps. You just want to water it down with some water. Put a little tiny bit more. And I'm going to get, see, you just want it real watery like that. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. Let me show you. Well, that cooked down good. It cooked down good and it cooked down fast. So I am going to taste it here. I think it needs a little bit more sugar. I'm just going to add a little bit, maybe a quarter cup. One thing good about making your, let me turn this down too. One thing good about making your filling ahead of time is you can see the thickness and you can see taste the sweetness, you know. But I am going to be putting, that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to add my cornstarch. You don't have to add it all. You just want to kind of see what you got when you're adding cornstarch, because you don't want it to be like Ellie Mae Clampett. and look at that. You just want to stir it for maybe 1 minute, and I'm going to turn the heat off on this. Look at that. It's just a really nice consistency. And after it bakes a little bit in my cast iron thing, it should be fine. So I will get back to you when we build this. Fire's going pretty good, but it's still got a ways to go. So I'll get back to you. Okay, now I'm going to start building my pie. My fire's doing pretty good out there. I don't want it to be too doughy, so you don't want to get the thick parts. Okay, so I'm going to take my rhubarb filling. I'm going to put that in there, like so. Hate to put the back of the pan on you guys, but that was just the right amount for that, to make a pie. That was just 1 bag of frozen rhubarb. Who knew, right? Don't have to cut it or anything. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crumble. I'm going to crumple all over there. You don't want it to be too sweet because you don't want it to lose its tartness. That's what makes it yummy. And I'm hoping that this turns out really yummy so I can give some to my neighbor, because he has been so helpful to me. And I really appreciate it. All right. So I got all the little crumples on there. Now I'm just gonna kind of fold this part way over. That's what they do in the bakery sometimes. If you ever buy tarts and stuff, they kind of just fold it over and make it look pretty. Try not to get it too thick here. Like that. Not bad, huh? So once my fire gets done, I'm going to put the lid on this so that it gets heat all around. And what they do in the other countries is they put, coals on the lid too. But I don't know. We'll see if I got enough. And when I bring it out to the fire, I'll let you watch. Okay, I think I got the coals kind of where I want them to be. I'm going to push this one stick off to the side. You don't want fire. You just want coals. So what I'm going to do, these crescent rolls so that they take about 10 to 13 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set my pot on here. And I'm going to close it up for about 10 minutes and we'll see what we got. Wish me luck. So I set, I closed all the burner openings on my grill so it would hold the heat, and it's rating just over 200 degrees inside, but the bottom is what I want to cook with the crescent rolls. So we'll see what we got. So the top did puff up a little bit, but it didn't get done enough, but the edges are good. So I'm going to fuss with this a little bit and try to get a pretty piece out of it. If I had it to do over again, I think I would just do a bigger fire, and I would put coals on the top of the pan the way they do. So when I get this cut nice, I'll get back to you. So the crust did get nice on the bottom. It was just that edge. See? Got really nice and brown. And I wish I had some vanilla ice cream because I think it would be really yummy. And so for future, make a little bit bigger fire. I did keep this on for about 15 minutes. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm going to make a pot of coffee, and like I said, I wish I had some vanilla ice cream, but and next time I will make a bigger fire and put coals on the top of the thing. So I hope you enjoyed my little video. And remember, there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it and love the Lord with all your heart.